Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Sudan's army chief lands in the capital's airport after the military recaptures it from the RSF. The paramilitary forces took control of the base at the start of the country's nearly two-year civil war. Also, Lesotho's Prince Seeiso and the UK's Prince Harry resign from African charity Sentebale over leadership in fighting. The chairperson at the heart of the row, a Zimbabwe-born corporate lawyer, hits back, accusing trustees of poor governance, bullying, misogyny, and playing the victim. And in Benin, teachers are trying to tool kids up to be better at using the laws and systems that are supposed to protect them and their communities. Students are being led through a deep dive in how their judicial and legal system works, both on and offline. But first, Sudan's army has shared triumphant pictures of its Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan arriving in Khartoum's airport on Wednesday. The military claimed the strategically valuable win after it wrested back control of the site from the RSF paramilitary, with whom the army has been at war for nearly 2 years. The RSF took over the airport near the start of the conflict. Recently, the army has been making big gains in Khartoum, including reportedly recapturing the RSF's last stronghold there. That doesn't mean, though, that the fighting is nearing its end. Our regional correspondent brings us more from Nairobi.
It was a symbolic moment as General al-Burhan's helicopter landed in Khartoum International Airport just a few hours after his men took control of the place on Wednesday morning. This airport was under Rapid Support Forces control since the beginning of the war on the 15th of April 2023. After that, General al-Burhan went to the presidential palace. Of course, it's another very symbolic place in the capital to announce the victory of the Sudanese military. And I can tell you that it was a very quick victory. A month ago, I was on the front line with Sudanese soldiers, and nobody at that time believed that it could be possible to capture Khartoum so quickly. So does it mean that the war is over in the capital? It's difficult to say so far because Khartoum is a huge city with many buildings. It would be easy for a sniper to hide there, so it's possible that some troops from the Rapid Support Forces remain in the capital and will try to target soldiers in the next days or weeks. But there is one thing for sure: many Rapid Support Forces members escaped from the capital earlier this Wednesday. They were seen on the road going from Khartoum to their stronghold, the Darfur region, which is still under Rapid Support Forces control. So is this victory significant? Yes, of course. It's a huge victory for the Sudanese military, but it does not mean that the war will be over in the next weeks or months.
Regional correspondent Bastien Renouy there for us. Well, over the weekend, the Sudanese army threatened to turn its sights on neighbouring Chad. The military accuses Jamina of allowing the UAE to fly in weapons to pass on to the RSF in Sudan. The UN agrees with that account. Chadian civilians, though, living along Sudanese borders are worried that they'd be the first casualties if tensions escalated into open war. Harold Girard tells us more.
Abdallah Ibrahim Arbab's organization tries to improve the quality of life in this Chadian border region. Civil servants often don't last long in these remote frontier communities. The village would also be on the front line if Sudan follows through on its threats to attack Chad. People here in Gabinets say they already have enough to worry about, not least the lack of teachers. Today's educator was sent in by Abdallah's team.
If I have to die, it will be for the sake of knowledge. I come here simply because the children are falling behind. I want the children in this area who've lacked education to have the same chances as other Chadians. Of course, the parents are scared. They always are. Even the students, just going here at the border, they say, no, they don't want to die.
A few dozen kilometers south along the border, the fears are no different. Rashida Mahamat is a midwife. She is the only healthcare professional in the entire area.
What security challenges do you anticipate given the tensions between Chad and Sudan?
Listen, as a midwife living in a village near the border, I sometimes have to go to the health centre at night to assist with deliveries. Because of the lack of security, something could happen to me at any moment. I'm scared.
You know, we were born and raised here. Leaving this place and going elsewhere isn't even an option. Even if the war comes here tonight, we'll carry on working here. If it reaches us, we'll keep working here. Fleeing is not a solution.
Chad denies any involvement in the war over the border, but earlier this week warned Sudan that it had a right to retaliate if attacked.
Well, Prince Seeiso of Lesotho and the UK's Prince Harry have resigned as the patrons of the African charity Sentebale because of a dispute with the chairwoman. Now, Harry set up Sentebale in 2006 in memory of his late mother, Princess Diana. Both princes have said that they're devastated to leave, but felt that they had to walk away because the relationship between the trustees and Sophie Chandoakwa has broken down so badly that they had no choice. Anne Wenzel talks us through.
Prince Harry and co-founder Prince Seeiso of Lesotho have both stepped down as patrons of the Sentebale charity until further notice. Sentebale means forget-me-not in Lesotho, and the charity was co-founded by Harry in 2006 in memory of his mother, the late Princess Diana, following him working at an orphanage in Lesotho during a gap year. The organization helps especially youth living with poverty and AIDS in the Lesotho and Botswana nations. The joint statement by the two princes says they're devastated by having reached this decision but see no other way forward after the relationship between the charity chair and trustees broke down. This amid allegations of misconduct, abuse of power, racism and more. Sentebale chair Dr. Sophie Chandoakwa was asked to step down by the trustees but refused and reported the trustees to the UK Charity Board as Sentebale is registered there. Appointed in 2023, Chandoakwa told media that she is a whistleblower and is exposing issues of poor governance, bullying, harassment and misogynoir. The UK Charity Commission has confirmed that it is aware of governance concerns at Sentebale and that it is assessing the issues to determine the appropriate regulatory steps.
Well, transnational crime investigators say that China, the Netherlands and the UK are probably some of the origin countries of some of the substances used to make a deadly drug that's killed thousands in West Africa in a scarily short period. Kush is a synthetic, intensely addictive drug that emerged in Sierra Leone in just 2022. Now, very recently, testing finally uncovered the chemicals that make it so dangerous. Caitlin Kelly reports from Freetown.
Here in Sierra Leone, the cheap and highly addictive Kush has ravaged communities and wreaked havoc. Up until now, what was actually in the drug remained largely unknown. Declared an epidemic by the president last year, a recent report has now identified the core chemical components of Kush. The Global Initiative Against Transnational Organised Crime conducted the first known testing of the most common varieties of Kush available in Sierra Leone and neighbouring West African countries. And they found that it either contains synthetic cannabinoids or nitazines, a drug that can be up to 25 times more potent than fentanyl. For years, Kush's ingredients were shrouded in rumours, said to contain everything from rat poison even to human bones. Now, experts say knowing what's inside the drug means there can be better treatment for overdoses.
There were 8 years between Kush first emerging in Sierra Leone and us having conclusive, publicly available evidence over what Kush is. We cannot afford to have those delays again because those delays cost lives. One of the myths that the research debunked was the idea that Kush was entirely made within West Africa. The active chemical ingredients in Kush, the nitazines and the synthetic cannabinoids, we do not believe that there is manufacturing capacity within West Africa.
Tests revealed that the ingredients of Kush are largely sourced from China, the UK and the Netherlands. Sierra Leone declared a national emergency last year after deaths related to this destructive drug soared.
Caitlin Kelly there for us in Freetown. Well, in Benin, teachers are trying to tool kids up to better use laws and systems to protect them and their communities. Students are being led through a deep dive into how their judicial system works. Our team went along for a look.
Every Saturday, a group of legal experts in Cotonou teaches children about justice and civic duty. Today, they're using role-playing games to learn about the risks and potential legal consequences of how they use the internet.
We make them roleplay as lawyers, judges, and others, and they learn from the experience. They start to say to themselves, I played the role of a lawyer in this trial. It's not my place today to commit these acts, or to resort to violence, or to be a victim. So we teach them strategies to identify potential offenses before they happen.
The lawyers explain that crimes like cyberbullying, cybercrime, and sharing intimate images are just as serious as crimes in the real world. The tutors also cover other legal topics that are often overlooked by school curricula.
It's true that we learn about rights and responsibilities in school, but it's not as detailed as what we learn here. For example, when a girl is raped, she knows how to reach out to her parents, the police, or other institutions to ensure justice is served, preventing other potential victims.
At the headquarters of Amnesty International, young people also learn about human rights, particularly the Beninese Child Code adopted in 2015.
Forced marriages have been prevented in certain regions of Benin because children who are members of our school clubs have received training on children's rights and the prohibition of forced child marriage.
Run in 4 of Benin's main cities, Porto Novo, Cotonou, Ouida, and Abomey-Calavi. About 100 children have been given insight and information to help them better stand up for their rights and those of their communities.
That report by our team in Benin. That, though, is all we have time for Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for joining us, though. Do so again. Till then, take care.